Welcome to Conversations with Character. I am here with a very special rapper that goes by Dadrap. I don't need to explain what kind of rap he's making because it's kind of in his name. But let's get into it, man. How old are you? Where are you from? Let's hear your story.
What's up, my man? Thank you, first of all, for the time. You know, everybody that has given me any time with this, I'm so grateful for that. So before anything, thank you so much, Character, for having me and taking the time to get to know me and let me introduce myself to the world.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I'm in my mid-40s. I live in upstate New York. I've been rapping for 30 years, and I just want to make music that parents can share with their kids. You know, hip-hop music that I grew up with in the 90s. And people now that love that music, they're in their 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and they got kids. And they want to introduce their kids to this music. So I want to make present day music that is about the everyday, mundane things that we go through with our kids and make it beautiful. And the way that it would just be beautiful is if my songs could be shared with parents and their kids and they could sing along. And that's really my goal for this whole Dadrap thing. And that's the vision that I really want to try to put out in the world.
Hell yeah, man. You said you've been rapping for 30 years. I assume it's not always been Dadrap.
No, it has not been. But you know what? Before I get into the interview, I got a little special surprise for you.
Okay.
You're going to ask me about my story? All right, I'm going to tell you my story. Yeah, you want to know my story? From the 80s and the 90s, I listened to rap, and it brought me up. It raised me. So, yo, check it out. Yeah. Let me take you back before gangster rap, before Dre, Ren, and Easy put on Raider hats, to a day in my past when I was 8.5. Went to the store, took this LL Cool J tape off the rack, heard him say I'm bad. All the rappers know it when he entered the center. Hey, yo, there he goes. That was bigger and deafer. Left this kid with the temper. All my anger was pent up. Started using the F word. I couldn't get it out. It was getting me pissed off. At 13 in my room, trying to battle crisscross and Chiali, ABC, all the others, but my mother wouldn't let me put on these cross colors. Used to dance like Scoop and Scrap. You ask her who was that or what did he say? I'm too hyped like Kid and Play. It's what I grew up with, what made me this way, a product of my environment. Ass third base. And that's the story.
Yes, man, that was amazing.
I had to just tell you my story about, you said I've been rapping for 30 years, and I started listening to rap in 1986, all right? Rick Rubin is one of my heroes. I'll talk more about his book and how it's changed my life, but Rick Rubin in 1986 brought hip-hop to the suburbs. I grew up in suburban New York, just north of New York City. And when Rick Rubin brought Run DMC to MTV and Aerosmith, and they did Walk This Way, that changed everything for me. The Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, and when in 1987, I went to a Pathmark supermarket with my brother, and we bought this tape right here, LL Cool J Bad, right? And I brought it home, we put it in the boombox, and the opening lines, it's just amazing. You know, it's one of his greatest songs, LL, and he's one of the greatest rappers of all time. And from there, I always wanted to be a rapper, and I am a rapper, you know. I want a rap career. And I tried in the 90s, just doing talent shows, doing chorus concerts, rapping, you know, to my friends. And, you know, I thought I was Crisscross. I thought I was Another Bad Creation. I thought I was Chiali, you know, because they were all 13 years old at that time. And then I went to college and I formed a band. Shout out to my band members in the Stuyvesant Symphony, Big Joe, Aaron, Colin Smith. And, you know, we had this band. I made a bunch of songs. I made an album, and it was wild. We had a great time. I did shows in my college in New York. I lived in New York my whole life. And then in 2007, 2008, I tried again. I had another album that I did with Colin Smith, my producer, and it was great. I did a lot of shows in New York City, a lot of great response. And, you know, now I'm back, and I just feel this time I'm being myself, and I'll talk more about that as we go through the interview.
For sure, man. And what was the lyrical content like on the other two albums?
It was about what you do in your 20s, you know, going out.
Okay.
You know, and all the crazy things, you know, dating, everything about just trying to be a rapper. But I think a lot has happened in the last year that made me realize that when I did that, I was trying to be someone I wasn't. And, you know, as I said, I wanted to be Chiali. I wanted to be Another Bad Creation. I wanted to be, you know, Crisscross, because that was what was hot then. So I had to make songs like that. In the 2000, DMX and Eminem were the hottest things. So I said, I got to be as crazy as them, and I got to come out growling. So I would do shows growling and, you know, making all these crazy lyrics. And then in 2000, 2008, the Southern Bounce was the song. So I'm like, I'm going to make songs like Southern Bounce. And now I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I'm just going to be myself. And I'm a dad. I'm going to rap about what I'm going through on a day-to-day basis, because there are people out there that are probably going through the same thing and they can relate to it. And that's really the message that I'm trying to send.
Absolutely. How old are your kids?
Oh, my little guy is 3.5 and my girl is 7.5 about.
Wow. Now, you said a lot's happened last year to make you realize that, you know, there's another direction you could go. What are some of those things that have happened?
The first thing was, we're coming up on the year anniversary of the death of Dave from De La Soul, Trugoy the Dove. And De La Soul is my favorite group. I have gone to multiple concerts, and when Dave died, you know, his whole message always was me, myself, and I. You know, that's how he's introduced to the world on MTV, wearing the clothes with the crazy haircut, you know, and he was himself. And that affected me. You know, it took me weeks to really get over Dave dying. And then I lost my job. That was February last year, so we're coming up on a year anniversary, you know. Thanks to Dave for everything he's done for music and the hip hop culture. And then in March, I lost my job. And I had 2 months off, and I joined Instagram. And in honor of Dave, in honor of the hip hop 50th anniversary, I said, I got all these old tapes. You know, I have mixtapes from Red Alert from the 80s and 90s. I got mixtapes from Kid Capri, you know, just taping off the radio. 98.7 Kiss, 107.5 WBLS, and I have, you know, probably from 1989 until 2001, I probably got 100 tapes, you know. So I said, I'm going to get through them, and I'm going to find my best stuff and just put it on Instagram, because I always want to digitize it, and it's kind of celebrating the 50th anniversary of rap. And I was on Instagram, and I see DJ Jazzy Jeff is holding a making beats course. I said, well, I'm off from work. I'm going to take this course. DJ Jazzy Jeff. So these were all the things that kind of led me to coming back to rap, and now making my own beats because of that course. And the number one thing DJ Jazzy Jeff taught in that class is that there's no rules. And it made me think about that there's no rules, and I could do another form of hip hop that really hasn't been done before. And then in September, I kind of hit a downs, you know, everyone has ups and downs. I hit a down, and I said, I really want to do something more. And one night I was traveling for work, and you know, when you have like a 6 a.m. flight and you got to wake up at 4 a.m. Well, I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was up for 2 hours, and I wrote like a whole song in my head. And that was my first song, Live for These Babies. And it literally took me like only a few hours to write this whole song. And I said, it came to me. And now I'm just constantly just making up new songs, and I'm just working to try to put out the best art, the best to my ability.
Yeah. And honestly, it's working for you. When we connected, I think, I don't know what, a month ago, maybe less, you had some, I think it was like 200 some followers. You're already almost at 1,000.
Yeah, Instagram is wild, and the support. I think everybody that has gotten at me on Instagram and supports me and says, people have written, we're rooting for you. That makes you feel like amazing that people see what I'm trying to do and are supporting it. So thank you for everyone that's written nice comments. Obviously there's people that write bad comments, and I don't let that affect me, because this Rick Rubin book, I'll come back to it a lot. It has really changed my mind. And that was something that did happen after September, continuing with what happened last year. I read this book, and it's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And it's changed my view on the creative act, that I need this creativity in my life to make me complete. And what he says in the book is that, people don't like it. That's a good thing, because that means that you're going far enough in your work. You're making it. You're on the edge. The frayed edges that he talks about a lot. You are there. And if everyone liked it, you really didn't go far enough with the art.
Absolutely. There's a quote from Rick Rubin that it's something like, if you make a song and everybody likes it, it's probably not that great. But if you make a song and half the people love it and half the people hate it, it's probably a great song.
Yeah, I mean, I know people aren't going to get this whole thing, and they're going to say, and some of the comments that people have come.
What are some of the negative comments?
The hip hop culture stuff affects me the most, because, as I said, I've been listening to rap since 1986, so that's almost 40 years at this point, and it's been something that I've always respected, the hip hop culture. And what I say at the end of that freestyle I just did is that I'm a product of my environment as third base. Hip hop being with me for all these years has molded me to who I am. It's motivated me. Anytime I'm down, I always, listen to Mobb Deep or 50 Cent and say, to motivate me to every day just to go out there and be better and do the best I can. And that's all. And that motivation of hip hop has just driven me my whole life, and I wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for it. So people that say that I'm bad for hip hop culture because I'm, making, I don't know, people say corny songs about kids. I'm trying to use the lyricism to express what I'm going through right now, because I know people that love 90s hip hop are also going through that. So I just want people to understand what I'm trying to do and not look at me as like I'm this, corny guy, because I love hip hop so much and it's a part of me.
No, absolutely. And anybody who says you're bad for the hip hop culture doesn't understand hip hop culture, because it's not supposed to be about any one subject. It doesn't have to be some gangster stuff. It doesn't have to be some this or that. It's hip hop culture is your genuine self and lyricism. And that's what you're putting out there.
That's right. And, one of the things, as I said, being myself, it feels really good this time around, because, as I said, I always try to fit in with what the hot trend was, and I'm not doing that. And another quote from the Rick Rubin book, he says, the world's not looking for more of the same. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to do something different. And I don't really care if people don't like it, because I think there's going to be people that do like it. And through Instagram and TikTok, people are telling me that this is funny and they like it. And I just want to make it funny. There's a lot of rap comedy out right now, and that's great that people are being funny. I mean, Ludacris is one of my heroes. I saw him over the summer at the 50th hip hop celebration in Queens, the Rock the Bells festival. And, Ludacris, he's like the funniest rapper, and he's probably been one of the most successful commercial rappers of all time. He's had more number one hits than probably any other rapper. Maybe Jay-Z has more or something, but, they're very close. Ludacris had a run for the early 2000s that he had a number one hit pretty much on the chart, like ever for 5 years straight. Yeah. So, and just being funny and, having fun with it, because there's enough stuff in the world to be negative about. I just want to be positive. And my new goal is this year, I said, I'm focused on positivity. I realize my wife and kids got to live with me.
How do your wife and kids take this? Like, is it embarrassing for your kids, or do they get excited about your music?
They are excited. My little guy, my new song that's coming out that I'm really excited about. I was hoping it to be out before this, but I'm just, I'm not forcing it. When it's ready, it'll be ready. The mix is done. Shout out to 412 Dreamer on Instagram for getting the mix done for me. I'm working on the music video, and I'm really trying to put this together to make My Kid Won't Eat is the name of this song. So My Kid Won't Eat is about my son and how he doesn't eat real meals. He doesn't eat real food. So I'll tell you. All right, I'll tell you how this song goes. Okay. My son don't eat anything nutritious. He only eats snacks and he says they delicious. He eating Cheez-Its, Paw Patrol cheese sticks. He eating fruit snacks. We got the 22 pack. So he loves that line, the 22 pack, because he loves fruit snacks. He loves Cheez-Its. This is what he eats. And it like drives me nuts because I'm like, hey, why don't you eat? He eats pizza every once in a while and mac and cheese. And it's like, dude, why can you not eat? Like, he doesn't even eat chicken nuggets. And I know people. And you're a father, right? You have a daughter.
I am, yeah.
How? Mind me asking how old your daughter?
She's 18, and I feel everything you're saying. Like exactly what you're saying. It's all relatable. This kid ate nothing but frozen chicken nuggets till she was 16 years old, and now she doesn't eat the frozen chicken nuggets. She just eats other crap that's terrible for her. We give her options for all this good food. Oh, try this steak, try these tacos, Nope. Give me some frozen pizza or McDonald's. I don't understand, but yeah, I relate, man.
Oh my God, that makes me feel horrible because I think like my little guy at 3.5, he's gonna like eventually be like, yeah, I'm gonna start eating real food. But now you're telling me that it's gonna last until 16 or 18.
Yeah, like I still can't get her to eat vegetables. It's terrible.
Yeah, my daughter's a good eater, so she doesn't like it when I put in the songs. So sometimes I say my kids don't eat or something. She's like, I eat. It's him that doesn't eat. So they get into, so they like it. My wife, she's been very supportive, she's an artist also. And she knows that this is my art and this is my creative outlet. And I think I just really need that to be complete and, get my voice, it's the only voice you have. And, if people are listening to this and are other artists, any type of music, art, painting, sculpting, whatever you do, TV production, podcast production, this is your creativity, and this is your voice. This is how you want to get your voice out to the world. And everyone should really feel that they should have that ability to express themselves. And I'm finally finding it in my mid-40s, which is kind of crazy, but it takes a long time, and I live with no regrets, but I feel that this time around I really feel good about what I'm doing and what I'm saying.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Have you ever heard of the rapper like Spose or Watsky? Do you know anything about them?
No, I don't.
All right, you should check them out. They were popular. They were really popular probably back in 2010-ish, but they were making it's called humble rap. And it's just realistic day-to-day kind of stuff, not necessarily dad rap because they were younger. They did, Spose did talk about his kids a little bit, but they were huge inspirations for I made music for like 6 months. It was just something I had to get out therapeutically. But one of the reasons I was so excited to interview you is because I am of the same mindset where I wrote music that was about my real life. I tried to sit down and make like, some club banger or write some club banger just for fun, like a gangster song. It wasn't in me because it's not me, the ability and the need to stay genuine doesn't only make good music, but it makes music that you need to live. Like you were saying, it's this artistic expression that is you can't compare it to anything else in your life.
No, it is beyond even your own comprehension. It comes to you. Sometimes you get a lightning bolt of inspiration and it comes to you, and I'm able to write, after I finished my last song, My Kid Won't Eat, I woke up one morning and I wrote a whole nother song in like a couple of hours. And I don't know how it happens, but I just get this inspiration and it's beautiful. And then, there's a lot of craftsman work to work on the mix, work on the recording, memorizing the lyrics, things of that nature, and it takes time, but that's the work that you have to put in, and the work that now I'm finding myself that making the content for online is difficult and always being online. And, I want to be able to make the music and not be so much online. So there's a balance between social media and actually having time to create your art.
No, absolutely. And before, when you were rapping, social media was not a part of this hustle, but now it's 50% of it.
It really is. And I'll tell you a story. I kind of left it off at my last shot at this was in 2007, 2008. And I went up to a major record label that my friend works at, and they brought me in, and it was like, a showcase day that they allowed people to come in and play a song for the big A&Rs at this big label. And I went up there, and I had 4,000 MySpace followers. So
oh, wow. Okay.
There was some social media, and that was pretty good. I thought, oh, this is great. I'm doing local shows. I just had done a show in New York City literally the night before. I go up to this big record label, and I play in my song. That song I just actually did for you. That's called The Voice, that song. And I played them that song with my lyrics about my come up, my listening to rap when I was a kid, and what I did, how hip hop has been so influential to me. And they liked it. They're like, oh, this is a good song. And said, how many MySpace followers you got? And I said, I got 4,000 MySpace followers. So, come back to us when you have 40,000 and go on tour and, sign with like an independent label. So I said, I can't do all that. I got a full-time job, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to go on tour or quit my job. So I didn't make that choice at that time. Maybe I should have, I don't know. Maybe things would have been different, but I didn't make that choice. I said, it's too risky. I'm not gonna do that. But, now it's different. You don't have to get signed by a record label, and you could go out there and you could, sell your stuff on Bandcamp. You could sell, you could get streams on SoundCloud and Mixcloud or whatever else. And, you could work with different sponsorships to, have an income. So I'm looking at this as a whole nother way than, how it was in 2008. You're right. Social media was not, it was there a little bit, present with a little bit of Facebook. People were just posting pictures of, their vacation back then. It wasn't like this. And on that note, I've talked to some people that are really involved with social media, and they say it's different now even than how it was a few years ago. People come home from work. They've had a tough day. The kids drove them nuts when they got home. They put the kids down. They just want to veg out on the couch, open their Instagram, open their TikTok, flip through some reels, and laugh at a couple of things just to get themselves that stress relief, and that's what it has really become, is this flipping through reels and flipping through TikTok. And it's not like how it used to be where people were, and people still do that on X, Twitter, but people aren't like just posting and as much anymore. I think it's just like kind of people use it for entertainment. It's another entertainment stream now, social media.
Absolutely. First of all, I had no idea that back in 2007 labels were that concerned with MySpace numbers. I know that's a thing now. Like, I have a guy who's been talking to Sony, and they're questioning how many TikTok followers, I had no idea that it was that important to labels back in 2007. That's crazy. What is it been like? What has it been like trying to figure it out, this modern day version of social media?
I've just started, I swear. I mean, my first post on Instagram with this Dadrap thing was on December 3rd. Wow. So it was like not even 2 months ago at this point. And I've just started, trying to see how much content I could put out, and doing daily content is really difficult, obviously, with 2 kids. And, this is not my full-time thing. I do this in my spare time. I do this when I need that creative outlet. So, finding that right amount of content to put out and not force it, not just, I believe in quality over quantity, and it seems like it's a lot of quantity. And, my main thing is like, I don't want to be a TikTok star. I want to be a musician. I want to make songs. Deep down, what I am, I'm a songwriter, and I've written probably, I don't know, 70, 80 songs over the last 30 years, you know. Every rendition I came around, I probably wrote another 20, 30 songs. And, you know, I had 10 song albums, you know, you take the best 10 out of 20 and you make an album. And I just want to, you know, make songs that people could really enjoy together and not just be a random person on TikTok jumping up and down and being wild.
Do you think social media is your biggest obstacle that you're facing right now?
It will help me, you know. I think it will. And it's different, you know. I'm in my 40s, right? So I don't know how to use TikTok, I swear. So I'm trying to talk to some people and get some help because I don't know how the algorithm works and any of this. So I'm trying to talk to some people and figure out, you know, how to work and, you know, how much content you should put out, how often. So yeah, it is. There's pros and cons. Is it a challenge? Yes. Is it something that can help me get exposure and, you know, get my voice heard, that people might relate to this and laugh at it, enjoy it with their kids? So it's a double-edged sword. It's tough, but I know that that's the way to really reach people. And as I was saying, I just want to be one of those reels where people flip through and they see me rapping and they're like, oh, this is funny. Oh, look at this guy. He's going through the same thing as me. His kid doesn't eat any food. That's all I want.
What's the dream? What's the big dream?
I told you I had a little down spurt in September, and I was thinking, you know, what can I do to have a bigger impact? And I think that's a big part of this, is having that impact and also having fun with it. You know, just going out there and meeting a lot of people. And I'll tell you this, every day I wake up and I'm excited about this because I have no idea what's going to happen. And another part of this whole thing is, all I know is I can make this work. I can make this art, I can make this music to the best of my ability. And what Rick Rubin says, back to the book, is any commercial success is out of your control. And I was going back to what's in my control and what's out of my control. That's out of your control. If people like it or they don't, that's out of your control. You can't affect someone's opinion. You could just make your art to the best of your ability. And that's what I'm focused on. And that's why I don't let comments online affect me, because I can only do the best I can. And every day, as long as I do a little bit every day, that's all I can do.
Absolutely. Now, I know you have My Kid Won't Eat coming up. I know you have some other. Do you have any big plans for 2024?
Just keep making music and putting it out. That's the success. You know, there's no success better than just saying that here is something I did and releasing it to the world for people to see it. That's the success, that you were able to share that. So that's all I'm looking forward to do. You know, after My Kid Won't Eat drops, I'm working on a song about bribing my kids with toys. So that should be a good one. And I got other songs, ideas that I'm just thinking about, all the different YouTube shows that are out there, if you made a rap about that. And, you know, I just want to keep on making funny content that people can relate to. And I don't want to feel rushed about it. So, you know, if people are following me and haven't seen anything for a while, it's because I am working on it, but it takes time. So, you know, that's how it was back in the day. Like, you know, you would love a group, they come out with an album, you would listen to it for a year, yep, and then you want to hear from them for like a year, and then they come out with an album like 2 years later, you know? So that's how it was. Now it's like instant gratitude. We need to see you online every day doing something funny. And it's like, there's a happy medium I'm hoping to reach here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, have you ever thought about doing like daily content of your real life as a dad?
That's the thing. I'm just trying to keep my kids out of it, you know?
Yeah. No, I get that.
It's enough. They're young. And, you know, I think that, as I said, you know, I love making music, and I don't think me, you know, feeding my kids in my kitchen is going to be funny. You know I can rap and make lyrics that are, you know, clever, that people be like, oh, this guy rhymed this word with that one. And it's, you know, funny that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to feed my kids fruit snacks.
No, I respect that. I do. Before we end it up, man, is there any kind of life advice that you would give to people, or advice you give to upcoming artists?
You know, I'll tell you this. I've been motivated by a guy named Jelly Roll. You know this guy?
Yeah.
He's a country music artist, right?
Yeah.
He won the new artist, best new artist at the Country Music Awards in November. He's 39 years old,
Yeah.
you know? So that has been very motivational for me in my 40s to say, hey, this guy kept on going, and now he's the best new artist at the Country Music Awards, you know? And if any advice, it would be just continue to go for your dream. You know, it's never too late. And another thing, going back to LL Cool J, to end where I started, LL Cool J, I saw him on an interview right before I went to that show in August in Queens, where he was the headliner with Run DMC. It was an amazing show. And he was on a show on CBS, and they asked him about one of his famous quotes: "Your dreams don't have deadlines." So that's something that LL Cool J has always said, and something that also is something to think about for people to motivate themselves to be the best they can every day.
I love that. Your dreams don't have deadlines. That is a great way to put it. Absolutely. Hey, this has been an awesome episode with Conversations with Character. This has been Dadrap. Follow him up, hit him up. He makes some awesome content, some awesome music. I'll see y'all next time. Peace up.
The most prestigious network in the land, the Signature Series Network.